How much do you really need to start Uber Black? I get this question a lot from people that want to get started in the Uber Black business. So I decided to share my personal experience along with my analysis. With that being said, let's dive right into the video. So why do startup costs matter? So startup costs matter because it determine if you can even qualify for Uber Black in the first place. Like I mentioned, Uber Black is not just the SUV aspect. Uber Black have a lot of factors, the licenses, the permits, every other thing that come with it. You know, it's not just the SUV. So before you even get started, you need to see if you have the adequate amount of money to get started as far as not just buying an SUV, but also everything else that come with the Uber Black business. Now, next, we got the financial risk. Miscalculating leads to debt, delays, or failing before you even start. That kind of go hand in hand with the qualification threshold. It's just knowing your numbers before you get into this business. You know, a lot of people look at the profits rather than the expenses, and that's what leads them to not being able to do Uber Black long term. You know, because the monthly car payments add up along with the insurance and everything else that come with it. Smart investment. Knowing your real numbers keeps you from over investing or buying the wrong SUV. Yeah, typically y'all, like before you get started in this business, like what I did is I did the numbers. I sat down, I did the numbers. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to spend this much. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. You know, everything was pre-calculated before I actually got into this business, which is why I'm still super successful in this business now. A lot of people be like, oh, how he's still successful? Like everything I do is pre-calculated, and you kind of going to want to mimic what I did as far as the numbers before you get into this business. Like this is the basic of the basic terms when it comes to starting any business. You want to keep them expenses low and the profits high. If y'all can see it, expenses low and the profits high. That's with any business. So yeah, smart investment. Let's go to the next one. Vehicle cost breakdown. Typically any vehicle that you buy for Uber Black is going to range from 35 to 65,000 because it's a black luxury SUV. Now, I think it's diabolical to go spend more than 40,000 to buy an SUV to drive people around. I think that's diabolical. But, you know, I just pulled the marketplace research when it comes to, or the market research when it comes to the Uber business or the Uber Black business about how much people typically spend on an SUV. And this is accurate, y'all. This was pulled for 2025. So people spending anywhere between 35 to 65, which I think is outrageous. And some people actually spend more than that. Guys out here spending 80, 90 grand on an SUV. To drive people around is insane. I'm sorry. I recommend not going over 40, which I gave my real example right here. My first SUV, the Range Rover, actually cost $37,000. But I actually put a warranty on there, which I shouldn't have done. And I recommend that, hey, if y'all buying a used vehicle, don't put a warranty on it. You know, if the car break down, fuck it. Just make sure you have enough capital to fix it. But they really get you at the dealership with the warranties. So try not to put down or try not to get a warranty. But me doing a warranty and then, of course, tax, title, license brought it out to $40K, which, you know, that's not bad for a nice luxury SUV. And then my monthly payments, I got 3 SUVs now. When I first started, of course, I started with one, which was the Rover. But my payments now range anywhere between $703 to $825. And I'm going to just go ahead and say this. If you plan on financing an SUV, make sure you do the longest term. I recommend doing the longest term because it's going to keep your monthly payment low. And plus, just because you finance it for 6 to 7 years don't mean that's how long it's going to take for you to pay it off. Like once you start balling and making good money, if you have the funds to pay it off, pay it off. You know, you don't have to, oh, I got to wait 5 to 6 years. Like, no, pay that shit off if you got enough money to pay it off. And also, of course, when it comes to the Uber Black business, let me move myself real quick, y'all. Put myself up here. Also, when it comes to the Uber Black business, you also have the option to rent. You know, I put the rental option in here. It's pros and cons with both. But I always recommend people rent before you actually go purchase your own SUV. The reason being is because a lot of people don't have, or they have this expectation of they finna make all this money with not a lot of time put in. Like, no, if you want to be successful in the Uber Black business, you have to put anywhere between 10 to 12 hours per day. I always recommend building a private clientele, but if you strictly relying on these apps like Uber and Lyft, you're going to have to put anywhere between 10 to 12 hours per day if you want to see good money. The reason I recommend renting as well, and this is just for your protection of your personal vehicle, is so you don't have to put wear and tear on your vehicle. Imagine having a weekly rental fee per week or per month that you pay, and you don't have to worry about putting mileage or physical wear and tear on your vehicle, which I think is great. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a damn fleet owner. If I had somebody at the time before I got into this business, because I'm the first guy to do this Uber Black rideshare fleet owner stuff that I know of. Like when I first started, I didn't have anybody to call up and say, hey, could I rent out your SUV for a week or two? I didn't. So it's something I decided to do, to help provide other opportunities to help provide opportunities for other people. Sorry, y'all. Been a long day. But let's go to the next one. Insurance requirements and costs. So Uber Black demands commercial auto insurance. Once again, y'all, you cannot get into Uber Black and try to pull out a personal policy. It's just not going to cover it. Now, you can get away with that with regular Uber X and Uber XL Comfort. You can pull out a personal policy and under that policy do a rideshare endorsement, but not with Uber Black. It's strictly commercial use only. Anytime you're making serious money off driving, they're gonna want to put it under commercial. And not just for that, but also for your passenger safety. But the monthly premium range, typically commercial insurance costs anywhere between $600 to $1,200 per month. And that could be per vehicle. I gave a real world example, but whenever I first started, I was paying $960 a month, or that's what they wanted me to pay. But I ended up paying mine up front because they offered me a discount. So I charged one of my business credit cards and paid it off in full. And what I made between that span, I just paid it off on my business credit card, which I recommend if you can actually afford it. But yeah, typically commercial insurance gonna range anywhere between $600 to $1,200, and that's if you got a clean driving record where it's no major accidents, no speeding tickets, all of that good stuff. That's why I always tell people, hey, protect your driving record. Make sure it stays clean. No speeding tickets, no accidents. And, you typically gonna get a good quote, something that probably could fit in your budget. But if you got a horrible driving record, good luck. Next, license and permits costs. So this vary per city. I put New York City in here, LA, Chicago, and of course Houston, because those typically the main cities that require you to have some type of limousine license or chauffeur license. But yeah, costs vary per city. It typically range anywhere between $2,000 to $1,000. I'm gonna just give my example. Whenever I first started, hold on, y'all. Whenever I first started, got my first SUV and I first got my limousine license, the total cost was $750. Now, the permit stickers for my SUV was $662, and then they taxed me on that along with the limousine license. But when I first started, I had to get my limousine license first and then come back and do the permits or the permit stickers for my SUV. So I totaled that up to $750, and I was including the limousine license and also the permit stickers for my vehicle, which is not bad. But yeah, whatever. I said not bad, but at the same time, that's kind of expensive. Approval time for that, y'all, was 3 to 4 days for the background check, and then 1 to 2 weeks for the full approval. And full approval meaning I could go start driving Uber Black. What takes so long, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people that have been through this process could relate, is the background check. They want to make sure you don't have no warrants, you don't have anything under your personal background that might pop up. So that's the reason it'd be taking so damn long. I remember vividly waiting. I'm like, damn, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? What's taking so long? I'm always checking it, calling them. And then finally, when they told me I was approved, I was like, yes, I can go start making money now. But yeah, typically the cost for New York, and this is just what I pulled through market research. Typical cost in New York City is $550 and above, so it may be more expensive than that. LA is $400 plus, Chicago $300 plus, and I put $750 for Houston because that was my experience, and that's with purchasing the limo license and also getting my SUV registered with the city for the permit stickers. All right, next we got maintenance and upkeep. So monthly budget is $300 to $600 per SUV. As I mentioned, y'all, I now own 3 SUVs currently. So when it comes to the detailing specifically, I mean, now that I have renters, I don't really have to pay this. But let's say I do have SUV setting. Before it goes to a renter, it get cleaned and fueled. So this was kind of like before business started really picking up for me, where I was doing this myself. My detailing weekly was 40 to 80 per sesh. Mainly bi-weekly, not every week. In the Uber Black business, you typically gonna want to keep your SUV super clean. That's how you attract clients, period. And that's kind of like what you want in order to build a private clientele. You can't be picking up people and your damn SUV got dirt everywhere, food, bags, wrappers, all types of stuff. You want to keep it super duper clean on the inside and the outside. But yeah, I say 40 to 80 bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, I'll get my SUVs clean. And that's with my personal detailer. I recommend that if you want to get into this business, you can either get you a personal detailer or take it through an automatic car wash. No big deal. But typically that price is going to be 40 to 80, and that's bi-weekly. Oil changes. So as of right now for my SUVs, the best way I can put it is you want to build a network of people. That way they can handle different parts of taking care of your SUV, whether it's washing it, servicing it, whatever, right? And I hooked up with a couple of different people that work for me, or not work for me, but I go directly to, where they hook me up on oil changes and stuff like that. That way I ain't got to go spend $100 to $200 at a dealership. But I pay $70 per SUV. And typically I get my oil change every 5,000 miles. So that's about damn near every month for each one of my SUVs. So I spend about $210 monthly on oil changes, which is not bad with 3 SUVs. Now, when it comes to tires, I do tires every year. This is my first year in business. Whenever I first bought the Rover, I end up having to get tires. And that was off the lot, but they gave me a hell of a deal. So I didn't mind about buying it and then putting tires on it myself. But typically now it's going to be every year for me. All my cars right now is good. They'll probably need it in a couple months. But if you're going to be in this business, I recommend just doing it every year. You should be fine unless you run over a fucking something sharp that, cut a hole in the tire and then you have to replace it. But typically tires last for a year, maybe 8 months to a year. And that price varies between $700 and $1,600 for me. I had put $1,000, but I forgot. Whenever I purchased my Rover, I paid $1,600 for the tires, and that's because it was a certain type of tires, which it was well worth the price. I hadn't changed them tires yet, and they still look good and got a lot of tread. So every year for tires, the price gonna range between $700 to $1,000, and that's just for y'all. But $1,600 for me. Now brakes and repairs. I just replaced the brakes on my Range Rover. That was $350. One of my guys hooked me up, but the price vary depending on your SUV and also where you get it done at. That could range anywhere between $350 to $700. Typically, brakes don't go out as fast unless you a bad driver or you have a bad driver. Brakes could last all the way up to a year as well. And also, of course, you got the uninspected repairs, sensors, electronics, suspension, AC. I'm just glad that, me buying my SUVs, I didn't have to do no major repairs just yet. The only repairs I had to get was just brakes, which I'm very grateful and blessed. Now, maintenance warning signs you want to watch out for, I even added that in there, which is unusual sounds, vibrations, dashboard warning lights, reduced performance, handling, strange odors, or leaks. So you just, having an SUV, you want to make sure you in tune with that SUV every day. Make sure it's running good. It don't need nothing. You paying attention to everything. That way, if something finna go out, you can get it replaced before it start making other shit go out. Because when one thing go out, here come all the other things going out as well. That costs you more money. So it's better to pay attention. That way you can prevent it to a certain extent. But you're going to want a budget for the maintenance aspect. A lot of people don't do that. You got to stack up funds. Like whenever you're making a killing, you're making a lot of money. Let's say you pull into me, you making damn near $1,000 per day. And that's with the ride share platforms and a clientele, you're going to stack that money. I don't recommend going to go blow that money. You kind of got to have a business mindset of, okay, let me put this money to the side because I know at any given time something could happen. So you kind of go on a budget as you be in this business. But let's go to the next one. We got daily and weekly expenses. And I break this down between gas, tolls. And so basically for gas, for me, all my SUVs take premium except the Ford Expedition that take regular. I spend on average anywhere between $40 to $70 per day. Well, it's per day, every 1 to 2 days. Let me just say that. Like I said, y'all, I don't have my SUVs. Like, business been booming for me. My SUVs been rented out. Very thankful for that. But when I did have my SUVs, I was filling up probably 1 to 2 days. Typically, if I run on a full tank, I won't need to fill up again for another day. And a full tank costs me, for each SUV, about $50 to $70, depending on where I fuel up at, of course. So I just put daily gas, $40 to $70 per day. Toll expenses. This is when I used to drive myself a lot. I ran anywhere between $2 to $5 per day in tolls. I put 2 to 3, but sometimes it was 2 to 5, and that adds up. So it's kind of like $400 per week, basically. So on a monthly basis in tolls, and this is from when I was driving to now, because all of my renters drive, and I have them take care of the tolls. So that's something they're responsible for. But my toll bill is probably like $160 a month. $160, probably $180 a month. Now, when it comes to the airport and parking fees, I know this vary per city, but they don't require Uber Black drivers to have airport permits here. So I don't have none for none of my vehicles, which I'm good on that. And I don't have no certain type of stickers that allow me to park anywhere. To me, I think it's stupid. To be honest, I think if you're a Uber Black driver, chauffeur driver, and you have to set at the airport, that's stupid. I've never been that kind of driver. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, my weekly total for daily and weekly expenses is about $300 per week. And I put on here the weekly operating costs. That's $300 plus before insurance and rental repairs, and that's per SUV as well. Now let's move to the next one. Real world startup example. So this is kind of like a breakdown of my current situation, or whenever I first started. So when I first bought my car, it was 37. As I told you, I was 37 after I did the warranty, tax, title, license. That led to it being 40,000. My insurance was 5,760. Now, the reason it was so expensive is because I paid it in full. I did a 6-month term, and they offered me a discounted rate. And that discounted rate was the 5,760. So instead of paying 960 per month for 6 months, I decided to just pay it in full. And I low-key did this because I just had got me a new business credit card, and I wanted to charge that new business credit card to start showing them, hey, y'all can trust me, and by paying it off slowly. So I made the money, and then I slowly paid off my business credit card, which is low-key like a tip and a hack, because if you want to earn trust and, do business with banks in the future, show them that you're able to handle paying your card or paying off your debt, and then they'll want to give you more money. So just notate that. So my total initial outlay out was $6,510. Pro tips for success. Y'all know I'm heavy on this. Rent before you buy. Rent before you buy. The reason I say rent before you buy is so you can test your market. Uber Black is not in demand in every market in every city. It's certain cities that it's in demand in. I would hate for y'all to go buy a $40,000 plus SUV and you end up stuck with that $40,000 SUV and you're not really making no money. And the only reason you bought it was to get inside the Uber Black business. So always rent before you buy. That way you can test the market before you commit to buying a $40,000 SUV. Confirm that the Uber Black opportunity in your area is worth it. Period. I can't stress this enough. Rent before you buy. It's not in demand in every city. Rent before you buy. It's not in demand in every city. This is not a regular job. You have to work 7 days a week if you want to make good money. You have to build a private clientele. Rent before you buy. Budget comprehensively. Common mistake: not including insurance, licensing, and maintenance in your startup budget. Account for all expenses. Everything you can think of when it comes to the Uber Black business, not just the vehicle, all the permits, the licensing, everything, the maintenance, everything. Account for all of that. Don't just think about the SUV. So before you get started, know what you're looking to spend. Also, once you get into this business, start budgeting for certain things. You know, everybody operate differently. The way I operate, some of y'all might not operate how I operate. So just the best thing or the best key advice I can give y'all is just to budget and accumulate vehicle standards. So in the Uber Black business, this is a premium service option when it comes to Uber. So you want to make sure your SUV is always clean on the inside and outside. As I said earlier, that's how you build a private clientele. I ain't telling you to wash your damn SUV every day, but make sure you at least keep it clean on the inside every day. You can wash it every 2-3 days, maybe every week, every 2 weeks, but make sure you always keep your SUV clean on the inside. Especially if you like a worker mindset person where you care about your rating and you want to build a private clientele, like just make sure you have a nice clean SUV on the inside and outside every day, and you'll be all right in this business. You'll make good money. Work to 10 to 12 hours per day. You'll be all right in this business. A lot of people cry about, it's not in demand. It's not in demand. Who cares? It's not about that. The whole goal about the Uber Black business is to build your own private clientele. If Uber Black is slow, if you know Uber Black is so slow in your city, in your market, cut on all the other options when it comes to Uber. You don't have to solely just rely on Uber Black to put money in your pocket. Do the other options until Uber Black pick up. You know what I mean? Just get tired of hearing people complain about this damn business. And this is every business. It's not just the Uber Black business. Every business go through a slow season, but every business go through a good season. So it's all about your perspective and your mindset towards whatever business you want to get into. For example, the Uber Black business. Now, the key takeaways, and I want y'all to take away some valuable information from this because I'm giving y'all some gems because nobody really going over this stuff. But startup costs depend on your city, your vehicle choice, and insurance options. Now, I can't speak for every city. Only city I can speak for is Houston. But keep them startup costs super low. Don't try to go get you an expensive SUV. Y'all know I preach about not spending over $40,000 on an SUV. And also, when it comes to the insurance, always work with your local agencies because they partnered up with the big brand agencies, and they typically offer the same amount of coverage. So always call around. Don't just go with one quote. Minimum investment. Now, for the minimum investment in Houston, you need about $2,000 minimum to start, which is what I just said a couple seconds ago. I probably would have been paying around $1,900 to $2,000, but I didn't because I wanted to pay off my insurance in full. But it's up to y'all. If y'all want to pay it off in full, that way you ain't got to worry about it monthly. That's good. But it also, if you want to pay for it per month, that's good as well. So it really don't matter. But if you want the minimum investment, I recommend just paying it monthly rather than trying to pay it up front. Cost escalation could jump significantly if you prepay insurance or face early maintenance issues. So like I mentioned, you don't have to pay your insurance in full, but they do offer you, depending on the company, they typically offer you a discount for paying it in full because they want that money. Trust me. And when it comes to the early maintenance issues, the best thing I can tell you is to vet out the dealership or vet out the SUV that you want to get. Check the accident report, check the maintenance report. That's typically how you avoid early maintenance issues. Now, when it came to the Range Rover, I mentioned I paid $1,600 for the tires, which I knew about. I'm like, this is a hell of a deal. I really don't have to replace these tires now, but I will replace them just because, just for the safety. Anything happen or whatever, I get a blowout while driving with people in. I just wanted to prevent it. I didn't have to. It was just my choice. But yeah, that's the only way your cost escalation gonna jump. Typically, the permits and the licenses and also buying the SUV, whether you have to put any money down, is typically on the low end. It only jump whenever you want to pay the insurance in full and also if you have any early maintenance issues. Don't forget to budget for insurance, licensing, and ongoing maintenance. Yeah, so basically just to wrap this video up, y'all, the Uber Black business is expensive. and it's not cheap to get started. So if you want to get into this business, just make sure you have a good amount of capital saved up. That way, if something happened, an unexpected expense pop up, you can take care of it without having to set out. Or, you budget before you get into it. That way, hey, I'm going to get the SUV and I'm also going to take care of the licenses and permits as well. Don't just buy the SUV and then you have to wait, work your job, save up some more money, and then tackle the licenses and permits. It's better to just knock it all off at once. That way you ain't got to do one part, pause, and then go do the second part. Just do it all at once. That way you can go out, start making money, and building your private clientele. But that'll be it for this video. If y'all have any questions, let me know down in the comments section. Also, y'all, everything I just talked about in this video is included in the Rideshare Blueprint. I created the Rideshare Blueprint because when I first started, nobody was talking about this stuff or going over this stuff. And if I ran across something like that, that would have saved me a lot of time, money, and also research. So if y'all want access to the Rideshare Blueprint, click the link in my bio. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next video.